Hi everyone. It's really great to have you here for our session today. I'm Sushilva Ramaneni from Turito. I'll be your host for today. Let's begin with a brief introduction about Turito first. And Turito is an edutech platform for tutoring to test preps as well as college applications. And it's trusted by 10,000 plus students. Turito conducts over 25,000 hours, say, live sessions monthly. And we are equipped with more than 1,500 tutors actually. And Tutor aims to empower students from grade 1 to 12 with personalized and all-inclusive learning, guiding them to remarkable success. So we have our global presence covering the US, Canada, India, Australia, Singapore, UK, and Middle East. Tutor offers solutions for all graders, groups such as test preparations, which enables our students to ace standardized tests like SAT, preliminary SAT, subject to SAT, ISWs, APs, and ACTs. And when it comes to college admissions program, offers the private school urge, enabling students to build a stellar profile with high GPAs and test scores. It eases out the college admission process basically to enter into the dream colleges or top colleges in US actually. And when it comes to one-on-one tutoring by top experts, these are taken by the top experts in math, English, and science, provides undivided attention and clear in concepts. So this is personalized to each and every student, and we are also helping the parents with the parent tab where you can track the progress of your kid to understand what's happening with his or her in the regular classes with us. And other STEM programs includes robotics and coding courses, which helps prep learners for a competitive driven future. Delivered by robotics and real-time coders respectively, we have these as the tutors, and these courses enhance students' profile with extracurriculars and also offer hands-on experience via project-driven sessions. Finally, ending with Tutor Academy gives access to live expert learned micro sessions for school subjects and test preparations. Basically, Tutor Academy is starting from grade 8 and above. So yeah. And when it comes to, we are aimed at providing personalized learning for students with holistic development, and Turito offers live and engaging interactive sessions as well as learning plans as per the student requirements or kids requirement, I can say that, along with the regular assessments with paper discussion also. And we have top 1% top 1% tutors who are focused in delivering the best to the students, and also we specify the methodology as per the student. We believe in that same methodology will not work to each and every student, so we differentiate in terms of methodology as well. And we believe in clearing the doubts in spot itself. So we have doubt clarification sessions for the hurdle-free learning process, and as well as mentioned before, we also have a parent tab to track your child progress, along with the conceptual learning with application process. Right. And today we will approach an important element of the college application process, writing excellent personal statements. For our webinar, we have with us Ms. Michaela Skiffer. She's an ex-admission counselor with over 5 years of experience. Currently, she's also a college counseling essay and application expert. She has guided more than 100 plus students into elite universities like Stanford, UC, UPenn, and more. We are privileged to have Ms. Michaela with us for the live webinar today. Right? She will take you through how to write a stellar profile statement along with improve the college admission chances actually. So what all will be covered in the today's webinar? First, Michaela will be covering the vital elements of personal statements, like how to brainstorm and avoid specific topics, enhance personal statements, writing skills, and she'll also discuss importance of the common up actually. And at the end of the session, you can also post your queries, and we are here to address all of them. Also, just there is something special and exciting events for you guys. So stay tuned with us throughout the end of the session. So let's begin. Over to you, Michaela.
Perfect. Can you guys hear me okay?
I'll just stop my sharing so that you can start it.
Oh, you want me to share?
Yeah, okay. I'll just give you the
perfect
access.
All righty. All right. It says I need access to screen share.
Yes, it's given to you, Michaela. You can just start the session.
Can you just give me access to screen share? Because I don't have that.
I just give me a second. Yes. Can you try once?
Yes, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I'm going to get this to go. There we go. And if you just want to mute yourself. Okay. This will go. Sorry, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about the personal statement. The personal statement is truthfully the biggest component of your college application, because this is truthfully your time to share about your personality. Okay, we're just gonna, I don't know what's happening, why this isn't working. Let's go. Just give me 1 second, everyone. Okay, I'm not sure why it won't load, but the personal statement is going to be required by every school on your list when you're going through college applications. This will be the main essay that every single school asks for. Usually students are using the common application, which allows you to apply to 20 schools. And on the common application, you're able to write your personal statement, which is a 650-word essay that allows them to get to know you outside of your activities list, which is a condensed version of your resume, and also in addition to your transcripts. So this one essay will be seen by every school that you apply to. Whether or not they require an essay, they'll be able to see this essay. And so it's really important because even though specific schools like Northwestern and other schools like that can also ask supplemental additional questions, this one essay will be seen by all the schools. So it is very important to approach this correctly the first time, because you don't have multiple chances at this. It's the one essay that every school will see. So dozens of your school applications will be looking at this essay. So it really needs to get across your personality, again, because sometimes it's the only essay that they'll see from you. Again, it's 650 words. That's usually just over a one-page document in Google Docs. So it is a significant length. And then also you have 7 prompts to choose from. These prompts are things like, what is one activity or interest of yours that is so time consuming that you lose all track of time when you're doing it? Or what is something that you feel like your application would be incomplete if we didn't know it about you? So you can see that they're not necessarily asking you for a resume item that you go into depth over. It's more about who you are. Just like if they shook your hand and kind of got to know you, in an elevator. That's what this essay is about, for them to walk away feeling like they got to know you as a person. So let's talk about the process of how to kind of come at this personal statement, how to kind of by process of elimination, pick your topic. So what I recommend doing when you're brainstorming, this is a great place to start. That's the question that we get from all students all the time is, where do I even get started? The first thing you should do, it kind of feels like it's almost working backwards, but this is the best process. You should look at all of the schools that you plan to apply to, have a college list all written out as well as their deadlines, and then write out a list of all the supplemental essays that they are going to require you to write. So Northwestern asks why are you applying to Northwestern? Same for like Boston University will have a couple essays. Just list out all the essays that you're going to be required to write, because that way you can make sure that the personal statement content isn't something that you need to make sure you have to cover in one of those supplemental essays, because we don't want you to have just the same content twice on 2 of your essays. So map out everything that you definitely have to do outside of the personal statement first, and then kind of get an idea of the content that you want for those other essays, and then kind of what you're left with, especially if it's anything on your resume that you want to talk about. Then I recommend looking at the Common App and writing out all of the prompts that you see there. There'll be 7 prompts, and then start to outline answer them. So, when they ask you what's an interest or hobby of yours that's so time consuming that you lose all track of time when you're engaged in it, what is that for you? Start to write out how might you answer that. And you'd be surprised at the amount of essay content that you can generate just by outline answering the prompts that they're there. They're designed to be there to be really thought-provoking and interesting. And then in turn, you're able to develop a lot of essay content, and you might find your perfect personal statement content right there in those outline answers. That happens all the time with our students. And then next, we recommend going and looking at sample essays. So you can go out on the web, on Reddit, or Johns Hopkins and Harvard and US News publish their favorite essays of every year. You can comb back through previous years or just the past year and just read sample essays. See what other people, the top essays out there, what they're doing. Often there's a formula that you can see happen over and over, kind of just like a math equation. You can see kind of the same formula in mind, and that helps you structure your ideas a little bit too and get some ideas. Just don't, when you're reading these sample essays online, those are finished products that went through multiple rounds of edits. So just make sure that you're not being intimidated by those final products, because your essay will get there too. It doesn't need to be perfect from the first draft. One really solid approach also is to look for the story hidden in your resume. So if you have been, involved in extracurricular activities and clubs and volunteering and, community service projects, likely there's a bit of a theme developing. I have one student who is a teacher's assistant at a dance academy, and also on her resume, she teaches STEM classes to little pre-K students at a daycare as well. And she has kind of a theme developing across her resume of working with children. So her personal statement is about, the wonder that she finds in the eyes of a child and how she loves helping, children discover new things. That it really inspires her own creativity too, because really there's a theme developing over her resume of working with children. So her personal statement is all about how she loves children. And so you can find a theme hidden in your resume too, if you have, 2 or 3 or even 5 activities on your resume. It's really easy to see a theme developing sometimes. And that's a great way to start writing your essays as well. And then it's good to look at some brainstorming questions too. Take a step back and, kind of look at your life from the outside in. Like, what would it be interesting for a reader to read about you? It's really nice for these admissions counselors in these schools to kind of gain a peek into your life, almost like a window into your home life, and get to know you a little bit behind closed doors. And so it's nice to kind of do these brainstorming questions to see if there's anything interesting from the outside looking in that would be interesting to write about. things like, what makes your family different from other families? Do you have any kind of fun cultural holidays that your family, really make sure to celebrate every year? Do any of these kind of holidays hold great significance to you, and why? Do you have special family traditions? Like every single time someone passes a test, you all go out for ice cream. Do you have any special family traditions that you could write an essay kind of structured around that tradition? Is there a single achievement that you're most proud of, and maybe a story of how you built towards that achievement? What's the nicest thing you ever done for someone? Have you ever gone out of your way to really kind of sacrifice something for yourself for someone else? Has helping someone ever changed your perspective? Actually, these changing your perspective essays are very popular. Was there a time where you thought one thing and you encountered someone or something that changed your mind, and now who are you after that? Your perspective has changed. I just helped a student kind of finish an essay about a change in perspective just a few weeks ago, and it's a fantastic essay. Other brainstorming questions involve kind of the future, or also more about who you are behind the scenes. What do you aspire to be? What do you hope to be doing 10 years from now? Is there a story that relates to that future self? Is that buried in your past that you want to talk about? What about what's the greatest challenge you've ever overcome, and what's the story that took you there to overcome that challenge? Describe a time that you felt empathy for someone else. What was the story around that? Describe a time that you were outside of your comfort zone. And again, well, who were you on the other end of that after you were outside of your comfort zone and had to readjust? And then describe a time you received kindness even though you didn't deserve it. These aren't questions that you can, usually build an entire essay around, but they are examples of content that can be added to essays to make sure that you're digging deeper and not just having a shallow, boring essay. But here are topics to avoid right off the bat. Now, these essay topics they're great topics. They just are very common. So if your essay, your personal statement especially, is written about these, it's really hard to stand out from the crowd. It's much easier to stand out if you have an essay that's written about something that they haven't read, 10 times that day of essay content that was similar. So the first one is tragedy. This is especially true of anyone in your family that you have lost to cancer. It is a very deep, touching content for an essay, but unfortunately, a lot of people write about it, so it's hard to stand out. Same with winning the big game. This can be any iteration of that. It doesn't have to be sports. It can be, winning the big debate tournament. Anything about my team worked real hard. We, encountered a setback. We rallied and worked extra hard together, and then we made it to state. We made it to conferences. We made it to nationals. There's a lot of essays written about that. Also, overcoming an injury. There's a lot of those, especially in the why major or why medicine essays. There's a lot of these overcoming an injury essays. So we recommend avoiding those, especially in the personal statement. There's a lot of broken bones and, I was depressed, but I fought through it, and now I'm a different person, and I overcame that, and now I'm a different person after that dark time. And then also politics and religion, we recommend staying away from that, simply because you don't have any guarantee that the person on the other side of the screen agrees with you. So as soon as you kind of state your opinion on one of those topics, you kind of you risk alienating the person reading it, and you can't ever guarantee who's reading it. So we recommend just kind of avoiding it altogether. I also recommend avoiding how did you pick your major or how did you pick the college. This is simply because supplemental essays will also ask this, and the personal statement will go to all the schools. So they'll see why you chose a different school. And also if they want to know all that detailed information, they'll ask a supplemental essay about it. And a lot of them do. So let's talk about the structure of a personal statement. What should it look like? And honestly, it's just like going fishing. You need to have a really good hook to, open up and really catch their attention, hook their attention with an opening line. And then you need your line to kind of set the tone. Really, we're reeling them in because we have a really good line, a really good story going. And then our sinker, we need to make sure that our ending ties back into our beginning, just like, having a net there ready to scoop the fish up at the very end, so your line doesn't break right at the end. And that's a little analogy, but it really makes sense when you're thinking about the story. You need to catch their attention with a hook, and then you need to reel them in with a good story that follows that. So here's examples of opening lines, really good hooks. Like they say, laughter is the best medicine. This is, about a pre-med student who wrote stand-up comedy on the side. So you can see that opening line is super clever. And obviously, when you get to know the rest of the content of the essay, like that opening line becomes even more clever as you go. You never know where a simple idea might take you. It's a very simple opening line, but has a lot of different possibilities, and it just has a lot of potential. So it's a good opening line. Beating the odds is quite literally in my blood. It's a very dramatic opening, and it's really interesting. It makes you want to know the rest of the story. I don't actually remember the rest of that story, and so I'm sitting here like, I wish I knew what the rest of that story was, and that's what a good hook does, is leave them wanting to know the rest of the story. My hands shook as I discovered my mistake. That's a great dramatic opening line because it, again, makes them want to know kind of, what's the rest of the story, and that's exactly what a good opening line does. Here's the main thing, is that this personal statement, outside of, when a college is looking at you to accept you, they have your resume, they have your 5 activities that you spend your time outside of class doing. They have the fact that you're in robotics club, that you're in Model UN, that you're in student council. They know what you're doing outside of the classroom. They also know what classes you're in. They know how hard you've worked for your GPA and your grades in each one of your classes, but they haven't met you yet. Other than the essay, you are a bunch of numbers on their screen. It's, GPA, SAT, ACT, classes. I mean, it's a bunch of numbers and words that they're very familiar with. The essay is their chance to literally shake your hand and get to know you. It isn't the time for you to go into your resume and just kind of go into more detail. It's the time for them to literally feel like they shook your hand and got to know you. They should be able to, from your essay, go talk to one of their coworkers and be like, oh, you have to read this essay. This is the flag football kid that I told you about earlier. You should be able to have a strong theme coming out of your essay, to be, that whatever kid, that, whatever your niche is. And, you should stand out for good reasons. Your essay is your only chance to show your personality beyond just your resume. So make sure it says everything that you want it to say. We're going to get into some examples, and then we'll ask for anyone that has questions can start sending in questions. If you have questions right now, send in questions and I'll get to them right after these examples. So here's example number 1. The first board game I ever played was Disney Princess Monopoly against my mother. It was a shocking experience. Shocking experience, that's really her hook. My otherwise loving and compassionate mother, she played to win. Though she patiently explained her strategies throughout the game, she refused to show me any mercy. Over the years, she continued to beat me in both games. But the contests became more competitive and my losses narrower because the reader was learning how to play. This past summer, I interned at the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research. Working there was certainly not a game, but my strategy was the same. Work hard, remain focused, and deal with inevitable curveballs, just like in the game. I carefully reviewed red lines on my writing assignments, tried not to get too discouraged, and responded to comments to present the material more effectively. Through the Parkinson's patients, I discovered what it really means to fight to win. I have also come to understand that sometimes a game never ends, but it transforms, causing goals to shift that may require an adjustment in strategy. So this essay is all about strategy in games and how they kind of adapt the rules of the game. My mother and I still regularly play games, and we still play to win. However, the match is now more balanced, and I've noticed my mother paying more attention to my moves and my habits, and even learning a few things from me now. So the ending is tying back into the beginning. We're learning a lot about this person. By the end of the essay, we don't know if it's a girl or boy, but we like them by the end, and we like what we've learned about them. We kind of feel by the end like it's well written, they're clever, talking about games and strategies and their mother. And so by the end, we kind of feel like they're ready for college. It's well written, and we like them. We'll probably accept them if we're the college. Okay. The first slide of this is supposed to be about sometimes creativity can come from a single impulse, and the reader talked about how she had a present of a guitar and how she struggled to play the guitar, but she finally mastered one song. And then it goes into this. My struggle to play the guitar led me to believe that music would be my only creative contribution to the world until I walked by room W113. This is the hallway at my school that the popular kids avoid. This hallway contains the entrance to the band room, the photography studio, and room W113. Again, it has like a nice little mystery, like we don't know what this room is. But one day I stepped foot inside the loud chaos I'd always heard echo through the hallway to discover the world of layouts and designs. Journalism, it seemed, had been calling to me down a long hallway. And I started with basic lessons on design and cameras, but rapidly picked up these skills. After a hand-drawn illustration went viral, I became the go-to artist on staff and began contributing to my local newspaper as well. Without ever stumbling into room W113, I would never have realized my creative potential and the depths of my success hidden beneath my own hands. So this essay was all about discovering hidden creativity. They originally thought that maybe music was going to be their only creative contribution to the world after mastering that one song, but they discovered a whole wealth of success and creative potential just by kind of a chance encounter with this journalism content. You can see that these examples, we are learning things about these students that we would never learn on a resume. We might see that the student had done journalism for 2 years or something on her resume, but we don't have the story behind it. So you can do that. You can tell the story of something on your resume, but do it like this. She talks about her creativity. She talks about music first, and then how she learned, photography and design, and how she discovered creativity. It's not necessarily all about just journalism. It's about her in reference to journalism. So here's our Q&A. Anybody who has sent in some questions, I would love to answer your questions now in the time we have left.
Yep. Thank you, Michaela. This was highly enlightening, and we are now ready for the questions from our listeners. I'll just you can just take 5 to 10 minutes, everyone, to post your doubts. In the meantime, I'll just run all of you through our offerings, what actually Turito provides. So yeah, I'll just share my screen and I'll explain you quickly. Yeah, fine. So yeah, the overall framework of Turito is to, to help to get the private school urge to all the students out there and build a stellar profile with boosting GPA, test scores, and as well as the college counseling to enter into the top colleges. That is our overall agenda or the framework behind this college admissions prep, which was started in Turito and followed by I just wanted, let's take a moment to just go through the Turito, the people behind, wonderful people behind the success stories as well as our college admissions prep program. So here we have our founder and CEO of FTV and Turito, it's Mr. Uday Reddy sir, and followed by Roop Kumar Reddy, he's the VP Tech of Product, VP Tech and Product, and Mr. Mallikarjun Gaddam, he's the Senior VP Strategy at Turito, followed by Mr. Vishweshwaran Mela, he's the Vertical Head in Turito, and Nishant, he's also a vertical head actually in Turito. And we have our academic team also. Her name is Kristen Moon. She's a college counseling head featured in Forbes, US News and World Reports, and in Investopedia as well. And followed by Mr. Durga Prasad Kunta. He's the academic program head and ex-chief education officer. He has 30 years of experience in counseling the students as well. Followed by Yvonne Hill, she possesses 10 years of experience, 10 years plus experience, and she's the academic head for the English in Turito. And we have our college counseling team, Ms. Lindsay. She's the college counselor, as well as Michaela S., who she have hosted the webinar today. So she's the ex-admissions counselor, as mentioned earlier, with 5 years of experience, plus 5 years plus experience. She's a scholarship specialist, counseled 100 plus students and delivered admissions into Stanford, UPenn, and etc. And we also have Sojourner Phillips. She's the college counselor, which she has 23 years of experience actually. She counseled 500 plus students and delivered admissions into top colleges actually. And followed by Violet, she is a college counselor and ex-interviewer at Brown University as well, and she possesses 10 years plus experience in doing the helping the students with the counseling and everything for the colleges. So let's take a moment to go through Turito success stories. So we have students getting into from our team to get into top universities such as you can see here into UPenn University, Imperial College of London, Harvard, and also UTS. So all these, we have students who already placed into these universities with the help of our wonderful team as mentioned. So we have Hrutin. He scored 34 out of 36 points in ACT, and we have followed by Satvika Allah. She's a grade 11 student, and she have scored 1550 out of 1600 in recent SAT attempt, and followed by Dhruv Verma. He scored 1490 out of 1600. And yeah. So basically, I just wanted, have you ever got a doubt or a question? So on how do elite private schools, what exactly the top colleges look for? So if the answer would be the stellar profile. There are personal attributes that are preferred by each and every student. Let's come to Yale University. They look on resource utilization, and let's come to Harvard. They look on hands-on creativity and hands-on creativity. So we have different attributes which are required for every student to showcase in order to get into top colleges. So for that, stellar profile with an excellence in academics and also a demonstrated interest in application with extracurriculars and social orientation is must ensured, right? And above, I mean, I just also wants to know from you guys, like above got a question or a doubt that how do allied private school students at an advantage. So if you're not, I mean, having any answer for it, so here is the answer. So greater than 40% of IB or top college admissions only comes from allied private schools. The reason being, or they admitting the fact that they were enabled with consistent academic guidance and counseling, and also the early preparation is early focus with limited group of students or limited group of students with a counselor support in the right direction and a goal clarity is something which is making it happen for them to get into these top colleges. If you can see here, we have few private schools: Phillips Academy and Dover, and the Hotchkiss School, and Groton School, and Trinity, Saint Mark Schools of Texas. They have a strength of 1,000 plus students, and the model that they follow is one teacher and five students model with a tuition fee of around, on an average, it's here 40 to $50,000 is what they're charging, and ensure that the kids are getting into students who are taking coaching, or who are studying over there are getting into top colleges, right? So here, what Turito is aiming for, I mean, our college admission program is basically aiming, our aim is to provide students with a competitive advantage to compete with private school students also, with 1/10 of the cost, helping the parents with benefits with better scholarships. So we also help the students to understand what all financial aids that they can get. So yeah, this is how. So basically, as we're discussing on profile, wanted to let you know all why building a stellar profile is important. As discussed before, first thing, it gives us an opportunity to get admissions into top colleges. Second thing, get scholarships, right? I mean, as for the study, it's clear that 75% of the students get scholarship for colleges, but 66 get below $12,000 for 4 years. On an average, if you can see the total fees comes to around 1,000, 100K dollars actually. So what you can do with the better profile, how strong you make your profile, there are greater chances of the higher scholarship amount that you can get. So here are the various range of scholarships that are available for the students to help in waiving their actual fees. According to there are different, yeah. So when it comes to, there are different scholarships also which are available for the students. Let's say a student is having better GP or APs or SATs or AST scores, that comes under merit scholarship, and student can also use. We also have scholarship based on majors, STEM-based scholarships, nothing but if you're having any interest in robotics, coding, or any certification, so you also get a chance to avail the scholarships based on major also, and scholarship based on extracurriculars as well, and need-based scholarships and private scholarships also, if for the employee scholarship, which comes under employee scholarship. Right. Coming to the program offerings, here in Turito, we customize the program as per the student. We according to the grade of the student, we customize the journey for the student for the coming 4 or 5 years. Let's say if the student is grade 6, we majorly focus on concept building with strong fundamentals. And we also parallelly help them in subjective SAT prep, ISW prep, which targets to get into gifted programs also, and guide them focus on right extracurriculars. And for the students who are from grade 9 to 10, we majorly focus on GPA boosters, as these are also plays an important role and have a better weightage in college admission process along with honors. And we focus on test preps, as it plays a crucial role, that are APs, PSATs, SAT, and ACTs. And going forward, we also ask them to strengthen or get deep into extracurriculars, because that is also very, very important when it comes to college application process. And also if the student is in grade 11, we ask them to explore different APs which are available, which they have an option to choose, so that they can avail some credits for APs, which they further can use in when it comes to their UG undergraduation or get into colleges. And if the kids are not happy with the SAT or ACT scores, we help them in improvising the scores, and also PSAT, we help them in the PSAT prep also, which helps them to get scholarship, nation merit scholarship. And skill application with social, we also ask them to focus on their profile with the help of, by making them understand the importance of social works and internships, or engaging them students into these activities. When it comes to grade 12, we completely focus on college applications, showcasing a unique stellar profile. Like, it's not all the time important to only maintain a profile, stellar profile. It's also important to showcase the profile in such a way that it attracts the people. Say people, counselors sitting over there. It's also, we also help them with the scholarship applications. It's nothing but the financial aids, right? So yeah, when I say like stellar profile, so what are activities that are needed to build a strong, strong stellar profile? So I just wanted, one thing that every parent need to know is your child needs more than his or her GPA. So we build an impressive profile while students do what they love actually. So we categorize the activities according to the students' interest and help them in building strong profiles. So as in, we if students are more into academics, so we help them in building their profile by focusing more on academic programs, extracurriculars, co-curriculars, and also special skills, and also work experience, or any volunteers that they are into already, and summer enrichment programs, or stream based achievements, and any unique hobbies or interests that the student is already having. So we majorly focus on these things, and ensure that the whatever this profile that is required to get into top college is being taken care of. Is being built in such a way. And GPA boosters and test prep, as I mentioned before, these also plays an important role or vital role, I can say that. So GPA boosters, so what we do, we focus on one-on-one, teaching methodology, teaching method. So we have one is to one live classes, where we make sure that the child is learning as well as parallelly enjoying the sessions, while we own and deliver academic results. Student also becomes confident and stay ahead from what other students from whole class that he's into. And these are all the various test preparation courses that are available in Turito. These are nothing but ACTs and SAT, subjective SATs, preliminary SATs, and ISEE. We have 6 different offerings under AP. That is nothing but AP Biology, Physics, Chemistry, Calculus, Statistics, and English. So test preparation is focused in providing academic guidance with a personalized learning plan by top 1% tutors for your child to achieve high scores in test preps with minimal hours, I can say that. Here we have our packages, college admission prep program packages. We have 2 different packages here. If you're interested, definitely our team will get back to you once post this webinar. So we can give you more information rather than here over a call post the webinar. So just giving you the details of the packages here. One first package is a profile strategy, where we have 3 hours of counseling sessions with our counseling team, as in Michaela or Violet, anyone who are available. So they'll be taking the sessions with you along with the 3 hours of test. In this test, we basically do the profile assessment, and we take the diagnostic test to understand the personality. Accordingly, build a strategy for the unique for unique and stellar profile. We also give the roadmap activities plan according to the for both academics and extracurriculars, and there will be a person, dedicated counselor, who will be following up with the kids on month to month milestones or met or not. So there will be a dedicated counselor as well who will be helping the kids with. And other, when it comes to other package, it's in it includes all different offerings in under one program. It's nothing but a foundation program where we focus on profile building. That's nothing but profile strategy. And comes to GPA boosters and test prep, you'll be getting 24 hours. That's up to you or your kid how you use them, whether you use them for the GPA boosters or APs or such those subjects, or you use for the to build the fundamentals like math, English, or science. And then followed by Turito Academy, you'll be getting an access to our Turito Academy for 3 months, where the short videos or related to test preparations, test preparation subject courses, and regular math, English, and science as per the grade will be available in the Turito Academy itself. And then this is also followed by a dedicated counselor to understand, to have a proper follow with the kid and ensure that all the whatever the activities that are planned in the roadmap or the strategy that is given by our our counseling team are being met on real time basis. So yeah, finally, when it comes to college application counseling, so what is the key to ACE college admission is to the top colleges is it's nothing but communicating the profile uniqueness and the clarity of thought and the purpose with demonstrated interest is must and should. So we'll be definitely the team will be helping you with all the things. We'll be helping you with end-to-end application support along with the college strategy. We'll be giving you three different list of colleges as per your preference, as per the counselor's preference, and as per the, I mean, the third list would be in-state universities. So we also give this college strategy, or we help you to choose the wisely when it comes to the colleges. And we also help you when writing personal statement and essays because personal statement and essays plays an utmost important role. And also we help you with the financial aids and scholarships. So what all benefits that you can get is something with the help of our counselors' knowledge. They'll be helping you with the financial aids and scholarships as well. And finally, these are our packages for the college application counseling programs. We have two different packages. First package covers 10 college applications, whereas second package covers 15 college applications, wherein we help you in applying for the 15 different colleges. In first package, it's for 35 hours in total, wherein we cover the college strategy. It's nothing but the building a balanced college list as per the students' preference and the parents' preference, as per the council's preference. And also some safe side list of universities where you have probably you have the more chance of getting into. Kids have the more chance of getting into, or we also help them with the letter of recommendations and financial aids and scholarships. We also screen share to fill answers to the questions in application. So we also help you how to use the Common App as well in detail, and we also help in the essay work in writing both personal statement as well as for supplemental essays. The only difference between these two programs is that in first package we apply to the we are constrained. I mean we are restricted to apply only for the 10 colleges. Where when it comes to second package, we do the application. We help you in applying for the 15 different colleges. Yes, so I'm done with all the information regarding the offerings that Turito is providing. So if you're having any doubts now, we are open for all the Q&As. So any doubts related to the college application process or the essay writing or make your building Stella profile. So here we have Michaela, who will be helping you with all the questions. And if anything related to Turito, I'll be the one who can assist you with.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we will get back into questions then. I have the chat, the Q&A pulled up. So if you have any additional questions, send them in now. But we'll start at the very top. Here we go. Someone is asking, I wanted to go the pre-med route and I really wanted to write about my EMT experience. Is this something that is trite? So I really like essays like this, especially if you can start with something dramatic and then work backwards, something like I'd been at the hospital for only 15 minutes before my hands were hovered above a human's chest, saving a life, something like dramatic and opening like that. Or it was only my second time in an ambulance, riding in an ambulance, and this time I was there to help. I think that as long as you maintain your EMT experience as discussing about who you are, like a part of you that you discovered during your EMT training or experiences, I think that it can be very good. Just make sure that you're not just talking about, I learned this, and then we did lectures in this. Like, talk about who you are. That summer, I faced fear for the first time. I learned who I was in a crisis. I always wondered what I would do when faced with like an absolute crisis. And here I was faced with who I am. Just make sure that it's focused on you and not the activities specifically. Obviously the activities can provide structure, but we need to make sure we have details of who you are and what you discovered about yourself during that experience. But no, I think that's a perfectly fine topic to write a personal statement about. It's not something that's overdone. I would actually argue that talking about an EMT experience in your why medicine essay, your why did you choose your major, that is more overdone than seeing it in a personal statement. So I think it's perfectly fine topic for a personal statement. And then, is it bad to indicate a future in health or wanting to be a doctor in your essay? Truthfully, I do have to steer away from this. I think it's perfectly fine to have like one line in there that says, you know, this is just one moment among hundreds that have led me back to medicine or led me back to healthcare, something like that. But I would not spend more than literally one sentence. Like, do not let it even go to 2 sentences. I just really highly recommend staying away from that, because again, if they want to know, they will ask you, they will have the supplemental essay ready to be answered. It says, will this slideshow be available for us to look at any day? I will let the other hosts kind of respond to that typing an answer back. And then Viv asks, my son's school counselor is advising him to not read any available personal statements of essays, but just to write your own. I believe this may be robbing him of the opportunity to see examples of well-written essays. What do you think? So I always have my students read examples. I think here is the pros and cons of it. The cons can be that students can get very intimidated by seeing perfect, like if they go and they read that famous Costco essay, where it's like talking about, you know, your life being organized like a supermarket. It's super well written. It's famous. It's literally famous. They can read that and read the incredible, well-written sentences, and they can be very intimidated. So I think as a parent, I would recommend going out yourself on the internet and finding 3 to 5 essays that are not intimidating, but have a strong structure, like what we've discussed here. Ones where they start with a dramatic opening. My hands shook as I realized my mistake. And then they zoom back the lens, they give more context, and it's about a girl who had a mistake in the lab, and it led to a discovery over a new antibiotic. Something like that, like grabbing exact examples, because another thing is when they go out there and they read tons and tons and tons of essays, like I usually have my students read 10 that I have carefully picked. When they go out there and they read hundreds of them, honestly, some of them aren't good. They're reading examples of bad ones, and other ones don't have strong structures. They need to read 3 to 5 strong structures of essays so that they can see different formulas and how to structure their essay. But we don't want them to get intimidated by a lot of essays out there are written like example ones. If you find them on websites, they're very often ones that are not very relatable. They're like, oh, I escaped this war-torn country. You know, I grew up without parents and like bounced around from foster home and now I'm a leader in my community. Like, it's like the stories that no one has. And so that is very hard for students that will get them feeling defeated, that they don't have some crazy story out there that they can use. And so I, as a parent, would go out there and find 3 to 5 essays that have kind of a normal story, like the ones I shared today. You can share those ones from today, and just share with them, you know, so they can see a structure, because structure will help them put things into motion. It will help their own ideas, but they shouldn't be going out and reading 20 to 30 essays. That's what I recommend. And I do think it does rob them of seeing examples of well-written essays. I have all of my students read examples, so I don't know. You mentioned that the personal statement is like peeking into your life. In that sense, how can you make sure that your essay won't seem like you're telling an autobiography? I just read an essay recently that was talking about something else, and one little section of it was like, my hands brush across a bead bracelet. This is identical to the one that my brother wears. Whenever I wear this, I am reminded of our secret sign language that, you know, only brothers can have, and late nights playing video games when our parents think that we're asleep. You know, it gives a little snapshot into like who that person is, but it's just like one little section of the essay. And this is like an essay about, you know, a student kind of like explaining their room decorations and like their way their room is set up. So we don't want like an entire autobiography, but we want details about who they are. And that's where, again, like reading example essays or like the ones I shared today, that's where that really comes in, is seeing all the how to say details without it being an autobiography. Honestly, like I have my students brainstorm and write out 10 quirks about them. Like, what are 10 things that you feel like, you know, are like kind of like weird little things about you, or that your friends would say, like, if I just came and sat with them at lunch, you know, your child's friends would say, oh, don't get him started on that, you know, he won't shut up for 2 days. What are those topics? And then that is what you can bring in for little details of kind of a peek into their life without seeming like an autobiography. It's kind of focusing on these like quirks or little unique details. I would say, like, don't structure the whole essay about it. Just bring in small elements of those little details of the peek inside. So the peek inside the window should just really be like 1 or 2 sentences in each paragraph. And then what scholarship options do we have? Our EFC is over the cost of attendance for all the colleges my kid is applying to, since I recently started a high-paying job. Any merit-based ones? That's a great question. Every school is different, but merit scholarships are the best best scholarships to get because they're renewable. So that's great. And if you recently started a high-paying job, honestly, the FAFSA is based on a previous, not this year's tax return. And so that like high-paying job won't actually affect your FAFSA for the next year or two. I think it's 2 years. So still file the FAFSA. And then merit scholarships are what you should be pursuing at every school, but every college on your list will have different merit-based scholarships. So it's time just to do a lot of homework on the schools on their list. I do highly recommend, if you want to look at additional merit scholarships like that are available to you, I recommend Merit More, MERITMORE, meritmore.com. You can just type in a student's GPA, SAT, and it just truthfully just kicks out like, here's the scholarships that you could receive at all these different colleges. Like, it knows all the merit-based scholarships and tells you all the best scholarships at the different colleges that are available. Do colleges get access to the ACT scores? Can you decide which scores to submit? How many times can I give my ACT to get a good score? So they do have access to your ACT scores. You do just send in your ACT. Usually people send in all of them. you can just send in 1 or 2, but they will see the dates that you took them, even if they don't see the scores. So if you took it 3 times, you only send in 1 score, they can still see that you took it 2 other times. They just won't be able to see it, the scores, unless you send them in. I would recommend not taking the ACT more than 3 times, or SAT. When is the right time to start counseling? Honestly, I would recommend the earlier the better. The longer time that we have to help shape your resume gives you the best chances at college admissions later. Students that sign up coming in as seniors, I've truthfully seen their acceptances be slightly lower than students that were, here for multiple years. So honestly, the earlier the better. 8th grade is not too late or too early at all. How long do you believe the perfect essay would be? Honestly, every essay I work with is always between 600 and 650 words. The maximum word count is 650, and I feel like almost all of the essays, it's like a struggle to cut it down to 650 words. I would not submit a personal statement essay that's less than 500 words. So the perfect essay would be between 500 and 650 words. And do you know of what higher ranked universities are pre-med friendly? Since I heard that some do not really take as many pre-med students from either competition or other factors. Pre-med just is honestly, just like biology. Like they don't really necessarily have pre-med as a major, but like biology. It's just truthfully one of the, across every single college, it's just the most competitive major because a lot of people go in wanting to go into medicine. It's just competitive. So I would say, the higher ranked universities, that is where the competition for like biology majors and everything become more competitive. So I would say there are universities that are more pre-med friendly, but they're more of like the state universities where they don't, where they're not rejecting a lot of students in majors. So, higher ranked universities that are more pre-med friendly would be like Notre Dame, like Wake Forest, just like not the Ivies, I would recommend that, or like Urbana-Champaign, colleges like that, Purdue. Is it all right to have dialogue in essays? So I would say very, very minimal, very minimal. And do not, for any reason, have a quote in your essay. Start it with a quote. No quotes at all. Like Benjamin Franklin once said, absolutely not. Remove that immediately. Every admissions counselor in the world hates those. So definitely remove quotes. Dialogue is okay, but I would say minimal, like 5 lines total and not all in the same place. Like 2 lines, some paragraphs, 2 or 3 lines later, not a lot of dialogue. It's just distracting, and there's better ways to like use that space. If a student has a weak freshman and sophomore year grade-wise, can a student bounce back? Yes, and get into a great university? Yes. And honestly, I think this is a larger conversation, but a good university can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. There are a lot of people that are focused on, a name brand university. And while that is perfectly fine, I did not go to one. I went to a state university and saved a lot of money and was able to do study abroads and internships in different states. And I had like an amazing time and graduated with no debt. And I had a very, weak freshman year. of high school and bounced back and still got into a lot of my reach schools myself back in the day, but at the same time decided to save money and stay at my state university. So I would say, yes, they can absolutely bounce back grade-wise and get to a good school, but if they don't have to be applying to like only Ivies either for it to be a good university. I know of someone who got into an MD PhD program, one of the top schools in the country that had only 2 seats in it, and she went to the University of Iowa, State University in Iowa, and got into one of the top MD PhD programs in the entire world with 2 seats in it. So a good university is as good as you make it, as you make the experience. I'm a senior and I can start a research internship this fall. Would this be significant for my college apps? Yes, go for it immediately. Start them today, because if you're a senior, you need those on your resumes. And if you're going to be applying to early admission, early decision, or early action, you'll be applying in November. So you need those research internships on your resume ASAP. So 100% start tomorrow. Because they're going to ask you, how many weeks per year, how many hours have you accumulated? And if your first application is October 15th or November 1st, you need to accumulate those hours so it looks better on your resume. Well, we have gone over time. Thank you for everyone who sent in questions.
So yes, thank you so much, Michaela, for this informative session. And yeah, well, guys, it's time to wind it up. So we hope all of you found our webinar enriching. If yes, do tune for more interesting and informative sessions each week, and each and every week we conduct webinars for all grades frequently. For regular announcements, you can check our websites and social media channels as well. Thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you so much. Yeah. So I think we still have few questions over a chat, Michael, if you don't mind. So one of the anonymous attendees
did things that I did before high school matter? They do not matter. Your resume starts in 9th grade. I'm a senior. I joined a summer job that I can only work 4 weeks. As they started to reduce fresh talent due to reduced footfall. Also, with the school opening, I'm hard pressed for time. You don't have to mention that 4-week work week on your application. I probably wouldn't either. Summer jobs don't really mean that much to colleges anyway. Like, it's not going to be a huge boost for you to have that job on your resume, so I'd probably just leave it off. Perfect.
Yep.
Well, thank you everyone for your time, and we will see you again on the next webinar. Thank you.
Hopefully. Thank you so much for your time, Michaela. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone
Bye-bye.
for making the session so interactive and engaging as well. Hope to see you all in the upcoming webinar. So you can check on our websites and social medias for regular announcements as mentioned before. Yeah. Have a wonderful night ahead. Bye-bye.